This is hands down the best laptop that Apple has ever made. It's got great battery life, a large, spacious 15-inch screen, plenty of power, and it's absolutely silent. The all-new 15-inch MacBook Air is an absolutely amazing laptop, but I didn't buy one, and maybe you should neither, for 3 big reasons. Don't get me wrong, this is an amazing Apple laptop, but it might not be the best one for you. So let me tell you the best parts of it, the worst parts, everything you need to know, and why buying a 15-inch MacBook Air could be an absolutely great move, but also a really expensive mistake. I made a mistake, and I don't want you to follow in my bad footsteps. Okay, so I know this video already sounds like I'm some sort of Apple hater, but I promise I'm not. I've got the receipts, the mountain of Apple boxes from products I've bought over the years to prove it. But I do want to set the record straight on who should buy the all-new 15-inch MacBook Air, or who should look at some other options, and I'll tell you what might be a better buy than this all-new MacBook Air. But before we even get to that, let me tell you the first reason why this is an amazing computer, and that is that when Apple unveiled it back in June, they finally perfected the Apple laptop formula. Because for so many people out there, they want a thin and lightweight Mac, they want to be able to browse the web, watch videos, do some photo video work, but they don't want to spend the money or need the power of the really expensive MacBook Pro. Yeah, they want a bigger screen, 13 inches is just too small, but paying over $2,000 for 16 inches of screen real estate is just way too much money to spend for a computer, quite frankly, they really don't need. So enter the 15-inch MacBook Air. It's the computer that gives you the larger canvas, you get a larger screen size, but you've still got a slim and lightweight design, you've got great battery life, some good power too, all in a much more affordable and attractive package that just makes way more sense for so many people out there. And now the Apple laptop lineup is complete and in its best form ever. You've got the MacBook Air line, which is really great, in 13 and 15-inch options, and the MacBook Pro in 14 and 16-inch options. Yeah, that 13-inch MacBook Pro sort of sits right in between there in the middle, but again, I've said this before, I'll say it again, do not buy that computer. That is just a terrible mistake you don't want to make in 2023. But as great as this machine is, and even though I recommend it to friends and family members, in fact, I just recommended it to my own mom, she got the computer, so shout out my mom if you're watching this. Hope you're liking that 15-inch MacBook Air. Let me tell you why I didn't buy it, and the 3 reasons that really kept me away from this computer that are definitely 3 things you should consider. Reason number 1 for me is screen. Now let me be clear, I'm not talking about screen quality or screen resolution or performance. For me, it's really screen size. In fact, the 15-inch MacBook Air has a really great screen, and even coming from a MacBook Pro, I don't miss ProMotion, I don't miss any extra brightness that machine might give me. The screen on here is bright, it's vibrant, it's colorful, it's great for anything you want to do, watching videos, playing some Apple Arcade games, browsing the web. Everything on this screen looks absolutely beautiful, even though the notch is on top. After a while, you really don't notice it, and you're really going to like the space you're gonna get. But that extra space does come at a cost, and what I found with the 13-inch M2 MacBook Air I own is that most of the time, I'd rather have the extra portability over having that extra screen size. And don't get me wrong, the MacBook Air, as the name suggests, is a thin and lightweight machine, but there is a pretty big difference you'll notice between the 13-inch Air and the 15-inch Air. There are some times I have wanted a larger screen, like if I'm working in Final Cut Pro, for example, but like everything else, watching videos, opening and editing photos in Photoshop, and really anything on this machine is gonna be just fine with the 13-inch Air, and most of the times what I appreciate is the extra portability you get with that machine over the 15-inch Air. Yes, it's great to have that screen size, but you are going to make a little bit of a trade-off when it comes to portability and the actual, form factor of this machine. Moving on from that, the second reason I chose not to go with the 15-inch MacBook Air is the performance. And before you even comment down below, let me be clear that the M2 processor in the Air is fantastic. Photo editing, video editing, you want to browse the web, you want to play some Apple Arcade games, this is a fantastic processor that is not going to only deliver the performance you're looking for, but also it's got really, really great, like insanely great battery life that you'll get on this new Air. But for me and my workflow, I need a little bit more power. I want to do a little bit more heavy video editing. I want to have multiple 4K clips I'm editing at once. Render times and export times are very important to me. I want to work with plugins and motion graphics and animations. And if that's the workflow you're looking to sort of enter into, the 15-inch Air is great, but you're probably going to want the power and the versatility of the MacBook Pro with the M2 Pro or M2 Max. And while we're on the subject, just like a quick head-to-head between the MacBook Air and MacBook Pro, there's really not a lot of differences you're going to notice. You're going to get a great keyboard on both machines, really great trackpad. Speakers on the MacBook Pro are better than the Air, but the Air certainly does hold its own. Great webcams. Again, for me, ProMotion isn't a huge deal. Really, the only caveats I have with the Air are two things. One is that I do wish that sometimes there were more ports. Obviously, the Pro machine is going to give you the SD card slot, the HDMI port. Yeah, it's a thicker machine, but those ports are helpful. And then the big one for me is I wish there was an extra port on the right side of the MacBook Air. The MacBook Air gives you basically 4 ports, a headphone jack, 2 USB-C ports, and MagSafe. That is it. I would love to see something on the right side, but maybe that's just me. All right, and the final reason that I did not go with the 15-inch MacBook Air is the price. But hold on a second, this needs a little explanation and a little bit of context. On the surface, the price of this machine is actually really good. I think it's really competitive in the sort of laptop landscape as a whole. And even according to Apple standards, for $200, you're getting a bigger display, you're getting a more usable canvas, and I really think that's not actually a bad upgrade price to go from a 13-inch Air to the 15-inch Air, same specs, all that stuff. Though one thing I would say is that when I'm talking about price, I really would look at other alternatives to buying directly from Apple, because we're already starting to see some savings you could take advantage of with the 15-inch Air, this brand new computer, as long as you buy it outside of Apple from a select handful of other retailers. And as the years go by and the more and more Apple products and specifically Macs I buy, I find there's really little advantage to going through Apple. You sort of have the nice experience of the Apple Store, the Apple Online Store, but oftentimes you're paying a premium where you could save a little or a lot of money by going somewhere else. And of course, we will do our best to find the very best MacBook Air deals for the 13-inch Air, the 15-inch Air, and of course any accessories and other Apple products we can find. We'll leave the best deals we can find down below, but just keep in mind that if you do want to buy a 15-inch Air, which is a great computer, oftentimes you can save a considerable amount of money if you don't go through Apple. And then obviously when it comes to pricing and specs, you can sort of spec out what you want. We can take a look at Apple's page here. I probably wouldn't make any big changes. I mean, if you're going to do some heavy, browsing and stuff, maybe you want 16 gigs of RAM, maybe you want to bump up your internal SSD a bit. And then the only other thing I'd mention here is with the power adapter, you have 2 choices here, and they're both, the same price. One is a dual USB-C port 35 watt adapter, and then one is a single port 70 watt adapter. For me, if I'm gonna pay the same price for both, I'm gonna go with the higher end brick. Yeah, it might be heavier, and yeah, you're going from 2 ports to 1 port, but you're also doubling the speed. So if you wanna charge your MacBook Air faster than 35 watts, I'd probably go with the 70 watt, even if it just gives you 1 port. Just to be clear, again, the 15-inch MacBook Air is a fantastic computer, and I think it does a great job at filling out Apple's laptop lineup to be more competitive and more value-packed than it's ever been before. The Air is a great computer. I love the 15-inch Air. It was nice to try, but it might not be the perfect computer for you. So if you want some advice on what Mac you should get, drop a comment down below. I'm happy to help, happy to be your Apple buying guru and help you make your decision. I love to spend other people's money, so I can help you in the comments down below figure out which Air is best for you. Of course, if you're looking to buy an Air, really any Apple product, check the description down below. We will do our best to find the best deals for you so you can save some money. As always, we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for your support. I am Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.